There we go. All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Monday night here at the BTA Network, and that means it's time for Monday Mayhem. We're going to find you some stories that weren't exactly in the mainstream. So, after all, you got so many already as it is. All right. Anyway, I'm your host for tonight. I am Oddball Extreme. I'm currently joined online by three of my crazy cohorts. First, below me is our master and creator, Frodo. Hello, Frodo.
Yeah, just barely on time, too.
Oh, you made it. Let's see. To my left, we have our resident Joker, Mike. Hello, Mike.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday.
Yep. And below left is our resident Tiny Sus, Janet. Hello, Janet.
Hello, how's it going?
All right. So anyway,
I
go ahead.
I have a little bit of a issue that I've got right now.
Okay.
You know what really is grinding my gears right now? Besides for stuff we talk about tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
The whole situation going on in the world right now.
Dan.
Well, when apps that you have on your phone for like as an example, taking reminding you to take your fucking meds or shit like that, decide that it's a great ass idea to go from a fucking medication reminder to a fucking addiction like gambling.
Okay.
One of the apps I have on my phone is called Pillow, Pillo. And while I will recommend it to people because it is a good app, because it reminds you about your meds and everything when you need to, what I will say is having an app that's supposed to be keeping you healthy and sane and all of that jazz with a fucking ad for an addiction.
Oh God.
Do you see the cognitive dissonance there?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it just pisses me off just that little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds like a malfunctioning app.
Well, it's not. It's designed to do that, have the ads.
Oh.
Right? But it's the type of apps that they're getting. That I'm getting. Because like I said, you're talking about going from having a med reminder to keep you healthy to, hi, we're going to have an addiction that you can get into called casinos as your ad of the day. And not something that keeps you healthy.
So, gotcha.
You know, it's that cognitive dissonance of, here, you took your meds.
Now go gamble.
Shit.
Now, lucky for me, I have gambled, but Janet, you know this. I set a limit.
But you know when to stop. I
set a limit. It's like, I'll never forget this. Played blackjack twice. Janet, you were there. I bet $20. First time, I won 70, stopped, took the 70. Next thing was the next morning. Put in 20, got 77, cashed that at 77, and that was
enough for our boat ride, right?
No, that was after getting the 5 scatters on that Wheel of Fortune slot machine. Got $90 on that one. I said, stop.
Hey,
that's the boat
ride. Can I say a
ride.
little something?
Yeah.
Can I say a little something that I saw this morning? Made me very happy. I was watching the end of Price is Right this morning. And there was a young man spinning the wheel. You know what made it kind of cool? He was on the autism spectrum. And he didn't win the big spin, but he was so happy to be there. And I said, man, if he can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you see, I mean, when I gamble, I set a limit to myself. If I say I have $100, if I lose the 100, I'm done. That's it. No more. because. But I still remember that. I still remember when I won that $77. Janet and I started leaving the table. This guy and his girlfriend, he was obviously drunk all night. He dropped $500 on the table.
Yeah, I can't remember if he won that game.
I don't remember because we left.
Well, you want to know something? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
You
I
want
mean,
to know something?
what's that?
He could probably afford it.
Yeah, we could. It's like I said, if I win, like if I go way over what I put in, I'm gonna stop.
But yeah, I'm sorry about that small little mini rant.
No. I think in this case that's a good rant because it's supposed to help you do something healthy, but then all of a sudden start gamble.
Yeah,
It's almost like defeating the purpose. It's almost defeating the purpose.
Exactly. So I was like,
yeah, talking about dumb.
It just doesn't make sense to me that you have a fucking healthcare app that has those kind of ads.
Yeah, that definitely sounds off.
But yeah, sorry about that little bit. But if you guys wanna...
you're fine. Okay, all right. Let's see. There's a bunch of things. So let's see, because I don't think we even covered this. So I got a lot of stories here to choose from. Let's see. An Alabama Police Department should be abolished over culture of corruption after 5 officers charged, grand jury says. That's number 1. The next one. Citibank mistakenly credits $81 trillion to a customer account. That's not a joke. It's real. Let's see.
I hope they caught their mistake.
They did. I'll spoil that right now. Let's see. Here's another one. Hundreds of your Warner Brothers DVDs probably don't work anymore.
Yeah, they call it rot.
Yep. Let's see.
Let's rot.
Yeah, we'll try this one. There are 10 unbelievably weird tax breaks that are actually real.
Mike.
Yeah.
I found something perfect for you, so I'm sending it to you.
Okay.
All right. And then finally, 2 people are in a theater in Washington State. The theater collapses, they escape. The movie that was playing, Captain America: Brave New World. But thankfully they did escape. But I mean, can you imagine there were only those 2 people in the theater. Could you imagine if it was a full theater on Friday night?
Ooh.
Could have been a lot worse.
Damn.
All right,
well, let's get your police department one out of the way.
Okay, yeah, because it's in my state.
What do you think of that, Mike?
I'm not a cheesecake person.
Oh, okay.
What brand of cheesecake is it?
Chocolate, it looks like. One.
Go ahead.
Where is this Facebook at? Yeah, it's a chocolate cheesecake, but the chocolate part is kind of in the shape of the M Pearl Star Destroyer from.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. It's like I would not want to eat that because it looks gorgeous,
Yeah.
It's like I've seen things where people have made these incredible like cakes and things. It's like I don't want to eat it. I don't want to ruin it. It's too beautiful.
But there is one thing I do need to mention before. I'm sorry, so sorry for this, Sheila. I mean, not Sheila. Shirley. I'm so sorry. Sheila's my friend that I hang out with a lot.
Okay.
So
sorry.
No, it's all right. It's my apologies. But there is one small thing that I think I need to mention.
Okay.
I am incredibly angry at my home state. Like, beyond normal. Beyond normal anger. I'm to the point with my home state that I just am done. I'm not gonna live here anymore. As soon as I get the chance, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
We are officially the first state in the union to have had a group of people have rights. And in this case, it's transgender people. They legally had rights already, and then our state legislature decided, let's just make transgender pariahs. Fuck you, fucking Reynolds, bitch. Go to hell. I'm sorry, but no, I'm not happy with that. What do you think, Shirley?
Oh, well, I don't like that either, but I have a little bit of news of something similar to that. A bill that was supposed to ban transgender women from... Let me double check that. I know I saw it earlier. Bear with me.
Well,
I'm not crazy. Let's see. There we go.
She's not crazy. She's just a little unwell. Oh no. We're all gonna die.
Okay, here it is. Bill to ban trans athletes from girls and women's sports teams fails to advance in the state Senate.
Good. But you get what I'm saying. I'm so beyond pissed off at my home state for allowing this bill to take effect. It's sickening to me. It's absolutely, positively the most sickening bullshit I've ever heard. And we do have a small little weather alert right now. If you live in north central Texas, or in the area of Wichita Falls, Burke Burnett, Seymour, Graham, Mineral Wells.
That's on the border of
Valley,
Oklahoma. Ooh,
and then into Oklahoma, including Duncan, Lawton, Edmore, Clinton, Oklahoma City, Edmond, a lot of cities that have had problems with weather. You guys are looking at a probability of a watch being issued within the next 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah,
of
I'm looking at it.
95%.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too.
And if you live in the Woodward, Freedom area and north into Kansas, in like Coldwater Protection, Wilmore areas, do me a favor and keep your eye on the sky. There are a few cells spawning to the south and east of you guys. Protection, right now, you've probably got rain falling on you as we speak. But if you live in those kinds of cities, please keep your eye on the skies and keep your weather radios on, because this is not going to be just a simple bullshit tornado watch. This
sounds
is the
like
same,
it ain't playing.
This is the
Right,
same
Frodo?
system. Yeah, this is the same system that's expected to cause a tornado outbreak tomorrow in parts of Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas, into Kentucky.
Okay, hang on. I'm looking at the enhanced thing. It's going to be northeast Texas, southeast Oklahoma, southern Arkansas, about maybe a little over half of Louisiana, 2/3 of Mississippi, about, I'd say, a quarter of Alabama, because it's in the southwest part, and a very small part of the Florida Panhandle all have an enhanced risk.
Yes,
You know,
that's what I was trying to get at. So please, tomorrow, especially if you live in those areas we just mentioned, watch yourself, keep your guys' ears to the weather, and please, no matter what happens with the National Weather Service, keep your radars on because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, keep your radars, radios, stay ready because now I'm not going to lie, there could be a possibility that we may or may not do. Oh, go ahead, Janet.
no, you finish.
Okay, all right.
You finish.
All right, anyway, there is a possibility political catch up tomorrow may be postponed if it's going to depend on the weather tomorrow here because I've got the slight risk of severe weather and it's supposed to be an overnight thing. So, but I don't know if it's going to come in at 9, it could come in at 11 p.m. I just don't know. We'll keep you up to date on that one.
Okay.
But yeah,
let's pray for the people.
Go ahead.
Let's pray for the people in South Carolina. They
Wildfires.
Have wildfires.
We've got them here too. About 160.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Carolinas have a few more than that.
Oh, I know. I mean, Vernon Turner. He was a meteorologist here. Now he's like the chief up in North Carolina, and he's been telling about that too. They're having a lot of wildfires in the Carolinas because, see, the last real thunderstorms we had was that one where I had the 70-mile-an-hour winds, and that was more than 2 weeks ago. So, but yeah, I mean, I will have my weather radio ready and all. So, I mean, like I said, I'll keep you up to date. You know, if the storms are coming by 9 o'clock, we'll postpone it. We could postpone it till Wednesday. Right, Frodo?
Right.
Yep, that'll work.
Yeah, we can postpone it till Wednesday because by that point it'll be just fine.
Uh-huh.
All right.
You know, and your weather problems, the definite maybe you were mentioning, Shirley.
Mm-hmm.
It all boils back to what I said before, and I'll say it again. The only thing predictable about the weather is its unpredictability.
Yep. Okay, let's get to that story about Huntsville, the Huntsville Police Department, because the entire police department's basically been arrested. All right. So now this was updated on February 22nd. So here's what's going on. Huntsville police arrest dispatcher's death. Corruption allegations threaten department. So here's what's going on with it. In the Coleman County town of Huntsville, the sheriff and the district attorney on Wednesday announced that the police chief, 5 officers, and an officer's wife were arrested. The announcement came after the coroner said the August 23, 2024 death of a dispatcher in his office was the result of a drug overdose, and an 18-member grand jury said the department operated under a rampant culture of corruption and should be abolished. All right.
So I agree with if a police department is rampantly being idiots, but I then pose a backup question.
Okay.
What happens if that what happens when that area has a major issue that you need a local police department for?
Well, I'm about to get to that, actually. Okay, so anyway, Huntsville, a town of 3,200 people, best known as the home of the main campus of Wallace State Community College, suddenly found itself in the center of unwanted national news attention. People across Alabama questioned what had happened to the department and what will happen next. So here's what we know of. The allegations include on-duty drug injections, misuse of criminal databases, and distribution of controlled substances to each other and to others, according to the indictments. Huntsville's police chief, 51-year-old Jason Marlin, is charged with 2 counts of failure to report ethics crime and tampering with physical evidence. He retired from the Birmingham Police Department, where he worked at the South Precinct. The indictments against Marlin allege that, as the head of the police force, he had a duty to report ethics violations to his officers to Alabama Ethics Commission and failed to do so. Marlin, according to court documents, also removed or mishandled evidence from the property room. All 6, including officers Cody Allen Kelso, 33, Drew Shelnut, 39, Jason Wilbanks, 37, Eric Michael Kelso, 44, and his wife, 63-year-old Donna Kelso, surrendered to the Coleman County Jail Wednesday, that was back in February, and were released on bond. Eric Kelso is also accused of selling, furnishing, giving away, or delivering Adderall to someone who was not charged in the indictments, and also providing hydrocodone and performance-enhanced anabolic steroids to Officer Wilbanks. He also, according to the indictment, provided anabolic steroids to Cody Kelso. Eric Kelso's wife, Donna Kelso, is also accused of providing steroids repeatedly to Wilbanks and Cody Kelso. Wilbanks, charging documents state, traveled while on duty to receive the unlawfully distributed steroids from Donna Kelso. The indictment also alleges Wilbanks of accessing the records management system to obtain information on an unnamed woman and an unnamed man, providing that information to other officers. He also illegally used the Law Enforcement Tactical System, LETS, to obtain a vehicle's tag information for Eric Kelso, according to the indictment. Wilbanks is also accused of removing and or mishandling evidence from the property room. Cody Kelso, records state, unlawfully accessed the same records management system to view the murder investigation against Randall Dwayne Hogan, who was arrested in 2024 in the 2020 disappearance and death of 57-year-old Jeffrey Glenn Wilhite, who disappeared in April 2020 from Coleman County. Cody Kelso and Wilbanks both traveled to an undisclosed hospital while on duty to get the anabolic steroid injections from Donna Kelso. He and Shelnut are also accused of removing and mishandling evidence from the property room. So what happened to the dispatcher who died? Christopher Michael Willingham, 49, was found dead August 23rd of 2024 in his office. The discovery was made shortly after 11 a.m. that Friday. Willingham's body was sent for an autopsy at the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences in Huntsville. Coleman County Coroner Jeremy Kilpatrick last Wednesday said Willingham died from combined toxic effects of fentanyl, gabapentin, diazepam, amphetamine, carisoprodol, and methocarbamol. Say all that 5 times fast.
He didn't need all those other drugs. Fentanyl could do him in without the help of all the other damn drugs.
Right. The manner of death was ruled an accident. None of the indicted officers are charged in connection to Willingham's death. However, the grand jury found Willingham's death was the direct result of HPD negligence, lack of procedure, and disregard for human life. Let me say this. I am not here to defend Chris Willingham, and I am not here to tear him down, DA Champ Crocker said. He has a family, friends. He's been around for a long time. Okay. Crocker said unfettered access that a lot of people had to the evidence room was the basis of the grand jury's findings regarding Willingham's death. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to skip down and get to the point of what's going to happen now. Okay. Who is protecting Hansville? Now, as of 5 p.m. on Thursday, Coleman County deputy sheriffs are handling law enforcement in the town as all Hansville officers were placed on administrative leave. The move came after Hansville Mayor Jimmy Sawyer and Sheriff Matt Gentry met on Thursday. This measure is being taken until a permanent solution can be established. So, in other words, Coleman County deputy sheriffs are taking care of Hansville for the time being. So that answers your question, Frodo.
Yep. You know what? They ought to vet their officers better.
The problem is with vetting officers, Jan, is that an officer could go from really good to really bad in a very brief moment. Mm-hmm. There's also something that a lot of people don't know called the Brady list. Basically, it's a list of cops who are known to be dirty. And I don't know if the Brady list is publicly accessible. Mike, if you have a moment, could you look into that really quick? But the Brady list would be, if you really wanted to find out something, that might actually be something to look at. A lot of times, though, if your name is on the Brady list, you can never get into law enforcement again. There are some law enforcement cities and municipalities, counties, and that that do not care about the fucking Brady list, but the Brady list should be respected, because if you've done it once and were a dirty cop, you don't deserve to be having a badge. Period.
Okay.
I got an idea.
The
I got a
list-
solution. The RoboCop solution. Can't corrupt that cop.
Actually, you can by reprogramming.
True.
Well,
If you remember RoboCop 3, when the fourth condition is brought out, the fourth condition was no, you can't attack OCP people or whatever it was. Well, he overruled that with his own will.
Mm-hmm.
vet robots then.
Isn't it crazy that I remember that small detail?
Mm.
Anyways, carry on, Shirley. I was just trying to make a funny and it didn't work.
Well, I mean, there's still like a lot more, but let's see. The criminal cases against the six will have to make their way through the court system, as will the civil cases linked to the department. The future of the department is in the hands of city leaders. Let's see. Now, the meeting was held back on February 27th. Discuss and address the future of the Hansville Police Department and other potential actions regarding the same. So right now, Coleman County is taking care of Hansville. So, Coleman County Sheriff's Department. But that's just crazy.
The Sheriff's Department is awfully disappointed at those guys.
Yeah. Okay, and I just got some breaking news here. Dolly Parton's husband, Carl, has passed away at 82.
Yeah,
Parton,
I saw that, and I didn't know if you caught it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I saw it, and they were married for nearly 60 years.
Whoa! I didn't know Dolly Parton was that old.
No, yeah, she's up there, but her husband was 82, so. So that's sorry.
Quit tripping over your tongue.
Hey, Shirley.
Girl.
Yes.
Shirley.
Yes.
There's a lovely invention called catching your tongue doing something weird. You're already having a good time with that.
Yeah. All right. So what do you want to do next? City mistakenly credits $81 trillion to a customer account. Your Warner Brother DVDs don't work. The crazy tax breaks.
That one we need to cover, because there's a little bit of techno with that.
Oh yeah, the Warner Brothers DVDs.
Yep, take it.
All right.
Take care of that, and I'll take care of the techno.
Okay. All right, so hundreds of your Warner Brothers DVDs probably don't work anymore. All right, so now this is in the words of Chris Bumbray, who wrote this on Joe Blow. So here we go. I'm a huge fan of old movies. Now, when I say old, I don't mean movies from 10, 20, or even 30 or 40 years ago. I love movies from the golden age of Hollywood, specifically the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. I've always loved this period, and given how hard it is to find many of these movies on streaming, I've made an effort to buy as many of these movies on physical media as possible. As such, I have thousands of old movies on DVD, and among my most treasured films are a few dozen DVD box sets Warner Brothers put out in the mid-2000s, as they control the best library of classic film. A few months ago, I dug into an old Humphrey Bogart box set to watch a favorite of mine, Passage to Marseille. After about an hour, the disc simply stopped working. The same thing happened with another movie from the set, Across the Pacific. I actually thought my old Blu-ray player was to blame, and given that that wasn't even an upgrade anyway, I bought a new UHD player and just forgot about it. Flash forward to about a week ago, when I decided to throw an old Errol Flynn movie called Desperate Journey. The same thing happened. This was more concerning to me. Unlike the other movies I mentioned, this has never gotten an HD release and was unavailable digitally. I did a little research online, and to my horror, I landed on several home theater forum threads and a couple of good videos confirming that this was no fluke. It turns out that virtually every Warner Brothers DVD disc manufactured between 2006 and 2008 has succumbed to the dreaded laser rot, where discs simply stop working due to a rotting of the layers. Once it happens, it can't be undone. This was a frequent problem with Laserdisc back in the 80s and 90s, but it wasn't a huge problem with DVDs. The issue comes down to the way the discs were authored. Many of the titles affected, which range from classics like The Wild Bunch and The Shawshank Redemption to TV collections like The Dukes of Hazzard, have been reissued on Blu-ray or digital HD. Some of the titles, such as many of the titles in the Looney Tunes collections and many of the golden age of Hollywood movies, have not, making them, in a lot of cases, lost media. So what can be done about this? Nothing. In a retroblasting video, they were ticking time bombs, and the only way to around the problem was to rip our favorites to something like Plex, but it's too late for the majority of discs. Warner Brothers, of course, has yet to comment on this, so people like me have thousands of worthless discs cluttering our shelves. Let's see. There's a list of comprehensive titles. I'm not going to go that far. So far, Blu-ray discs aren't... Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so like you said, so far Blu-ray discs aren't affected, and there's a good reason for this. So, most of these discs are probably of the dual layer format. What that is, in some DVDs, when you have a lot of data you need to do, this happened a lot with like more HD titles in DVD times. The discs are actually made of multiple layers. So you have the layer where the data is stored is actually very, very close to the label. So any scratches on the label, your disc is fucked. Okay. That's not even a joke either. Like, any scratches on the label, and if you could see through it, it's dead. You throw it, you use it as a coaster at that point. What they're talking about, it's not laser rot, it's disc rot. And what happens is that what's right under the label starts to, the adhesive that holds the disc layers together starts to let loose. And without that that silvery mirrored finish, the laser can't work. Remember, your disk's data is nothing more and nothing less than a series of pits and lands. Basically, flat parts and down, and basically they're engraved into the disc just like you would have had in a record, except that in this case, in this instance, it's just a little hollowed out point. And when the laser scans, if it gets a reflection back, it's a 0 as far as the DAC is considered, digital to analog converter. But if it sees nothing come back or very, very little come back, it's considered a 1. So every time that a pit or land transitions, you have a 1. So the up and down of the pits and lands are what store the data. Well, if the mirrored surface that actually allows you to see the difference between them isn't working, is it reflecting properly? Well, guess what happens?
The unit dies.
Yep. So they're actually dead on accurate about this and how bad it is. You cannot recover from disc rot. It's just not possible. The biggest reason for that is that disc rot is on the hardware level. It's not on a software level or anything. It's literally part of how the disc is mastered. And that applies to all discs. If you see like bubbles on your label side, your disc has been affected by disc rot. And like I said before, there is no saving a disc once it's affected by disc rot.
Maybe I should check out the DVDs on my shelves.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the same.
You really should. And the biggest thing you want to make sure about is that A, you can't see through the disc, and B, that the disc is in good condition, like the plastic areas. If you can see through the disc, you should be fine. If you can't see through the disc, you should be fine. If you can see the disc, well,
it's screwed.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's screwed.
Yep. So sorry about that long tech talk with Frodo, but it's
a necessary thing, I think.
And it explains how disc rot happens. And another thing that you need to know, your worst place to keep discs is in a place that fluctuates temperature-wise. And especially if you're talking about recordable discs, those are especially susceptible to disc rot. So places like your car, absolutely the worst place for you to keep your discs. Because since the car warms up, cools down every 12 hours, that repeated cycle of warming and cooling is going to make the disc rot issue happen faster.
Yeah.
I got 2 racks of DVDs in my bedroom. Right now, it's one of the coolest places in the house, but it'll gradually warm up instead of boom, like it does in a car.
Yeah, gradual is fine, but like I said,
like here's a good example. Here's a good example for me. Right now, it could be like 40 in the morning and 80 by afternoon around here right now. So, if let's say I'm dumb enough to leave a DVD in the car for several weeks with this temperature fluctuation, it'll probably make that thing rot faster.
It would. And it wouldn't necessarily be detectable right away. It can still take a little bit of time. But the more you leave them in those fluctuating temperatures, the more that the glue, the adhesive that holds your discs together is going to rot. And like literally, that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to scare people.
No, but this is really important because of that. Because between 2000 and 2008. Ugh. Okay.
And I'm going to tell you this right now.
DVD set still could.
Your best bet is to keep your discs in a relatively even temperature. So, like, my apartment, I try to keep around 68, 69 degrees, maybe a little bit higher. But, like, I don't get too hot in my apartment because I don't like it hot. Neither does my wife. So, just keep that in mind. And the best practice, like I said, keep it at room temperature or maybe just a little bit above. Because what happens, because the cold will make the adhesive brittle, and then the heat will melt it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
All right.
And I got a fuzz butt that decided to sit on my lap right now.
Maddie!
Can we see Maddie?
Janet, here,
Please?
Janet, the camera doesn't work on his laptop. Remember?
No, my laptop doesn't have a camera.
Oh, okay. Not unless we can,
Kitty, kitty,
unless we
kitty,
can get him
kitty,
one.
kitty.
All right.
Maddie.
All right. So now, which do you want next? Ceiling collapses inside Washington movie theater, the weird tax breaks, or the $81 trillion Citibank mistake?
That one.
The $81 trillion.
Citibank.
All right.
I'm gonna bounce because I gotta cook me and Sarah some supper, so I'll talk to y'all later.
Okay.
Bye, Frodo.
Later, Frodo.
See you Tuesday.
Later.
All right. So Citi mistakenly credits $81 trillion to a customer account. Okay, so
I wonder how long it took them to figure out their mistake.
Well, here's what happened. The error actually took place last April, so it didn't happen recently. It was last April. It was missed by a payments employee and a second worker before it was clear to process the following day, according to the newspaper, which cited an internal account and 2 people familiar with the matter. By the way, the paper was the Financial Times. A third employee discovered the error an hour and a half later after the payment was processed. The transaction was reversed several hours later, the Financial Times said. No funds left the bank, and the near miss was disclosed to the Federal Reserve and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the report said. Now, since this was last April, it was under Biden, not Trump, just to clear that up. Okay. Despite the fact the payment of this size could not actually have been executed, our detective controls promptly identified the inputting error between 2 Citi ledger accounts, and we reversed the entry, a Citigroup spokesperson stated in an email. Our preventative controls would have also stopped any funds leaving the bank. The incident did not affect the bank or the customers, Citi added. The bank experienced 10 near misses of $1 billion, that's with a B, dollars or more in 2024, down from 13 such cases the prior year, according to the Federal Times, which cited an internal report. But could you seriously imagine that? 81 trillion dollars.
Imagine what the person what it would have been like if that person would have received all that money into their account.
Yeah. It's like, what the what?
What the fluff?
Yeah. That's crazy, but I'm glad they did catch that.
Yeah. I just hope the people who made the mistake in the first place were not chewed out too bad.
I hope not either. All right, so now I got 2 left. Ceiling collapses in Washington movie theater or the weird tax breaks?
Let's do the weird tax breaks because I'm not ready to hear that sad story about the collapsing theater yet.
Yeah. All right, so anyway, now this is from AARP. And I saw this. It says 10 weird tax breaks you won't believe the IRS allows. It's like, I think that's weird enough to work. Okay, so here's the story. Clarinet lessons, cosmetic procedures, private tutors. These aren't just things that you'd associate with the 1%. They're real tax breaks you can claim in certain circumstances. So here are 10 of the most unusual tax deductions the IRS allows. Animal expenses.
What do they mean by animal expenses? Like vets?
Well, no, let me explain. Owning a pet for emotional support may ease your anxiety, but that's not a legitimate reason for deducting Fluffy's food, litter, and veterinary bills. A bona fide service animal, such as a guide dog used by someone who has a visual or hearing impairment or a physical disability, is another story. The cost to buy, train, and maintain, food, grooming, vet care, a service animal under these circumstances is generally deductible as a medical expense according to IRS guidelines. If you foster an animal for a qualified 501c3 pet adoption or rescue organization, you may also be able to write off certain unreimbursed expenses such as pet food and vet bills. And if a cat keeps your business free from rats or a guard dog protects your business from thieves, you might be able to deduct some of the expenses for its care. If it can be associated with some sort of income, it was allowed, says Mark Luscombe, principal analyst at Wolters Kluwer Tax and Accounting. Now, body oil.
Okay. What is number 2?
Body oil.
What?
Body oil. Body
Body
oil.
oil?
Yeah. Okay, most of us can't detect the cost of body oil no matter how great it makes your skin feel. But what if you're a bodybuilder? It takes a lot of oil to make your body shine like that, and it's a legitimate expense for professional weightlifters.
What?
Okay, now this one you're not gonna believe this one. Clarinet lessons. So here's what's going on. In 1962, a parent deducted the cost of clarinet lessons for her child, says Lisa Green Lewis, CPA and tax expert with TurboTax. The reasoning? An orthodontist said it would correct the child's overbite. The IRS allowed the deduction as a medical expense. Let's see. A doctor's note can help. Let's see. A doctor's note can help you get some other medical deductions, such as costs of quitting smoking or losing weight. Be sure to document your costs and get that note from the doctor. That makes sense. Cosmetic procedures. The IRS will allow you to include cosmetic surgery in your medical expenses if it is necessary to improve a deformity from or directly related to a congenital abnormality, an injury from an accident or trauma, or a disfiguring disease. There was a case where an exotic dancer...
So you can't get a tax deduction if you're burnt by a fire and have to have plastic surgery.
Right. There was a case where an exotic dancer known as Chesty Love tried to depreciate her breast implants on her taxes, Green Lewis says. The IRS initially blocked the depreciation deduction, but the U.S. court ruled that the breast implants can be claimed as a business deduction. Okay.
So a person can't deduct, say, getting burned by a fire?
They can't
have the plastics.
No, they can. They can. They can.
Okay.
All right. Try this one. Elevators.
Elevators?
Yep. Now here it is. If you have mobility problems and can't leave your multi-story house, an elevator is a reasonable solution and a deductible one, says Melanie Lauritsen, Vice President of Tax Policy and Advocacy at the American Institute of CPAs. 2 hitches. First, this is a medical deduction. That means you can only use the amount of total qualifying medical expenses that are above 7.5% of your adjusted gross income. Second, if the elevator increases the value of your property, you must subtract that amount from the amount you deduct. The same rule holds true for swimming pools. You'll see more of that below. Okay. Ransoms.
Yes. Have you seen those stair lift? You sit in the chair.
Yeah.
And it takes it up the stairs.
Yeah.
Does that count?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to really look into that. Okay. Next up, ransoms. And no, not the kidnapping ransoms. We're talking about ransomware.
So it's when your computer gets held hostage.
Ransomware, of course, is a malicious computer program that encrypts important business information. The hackers demand payment for a key that will unlock the digital data. It's a big business. In 2024, healthcare technology company Change Healthcare was forced to shut down its entire network due to a ransomware attack, and the company paid the hackers $22 million to prevent the release of the stolen data. Most ransomware attacks are aimed at small businesses, however. You can deduct the cost of a ransomware attack as a business expense, provided you can prove the attack occurred. That makes sense. All right, then we've got swimming pools. Yes, fun is good for you, but you can't deduct the costs associated with a swimming pool because swimming makes you happy. The IRS did allow a deduction for installing a swimming pool at the home of an arthritis sufferer whose doctor prescribed regular swimming for him, according to e-file. Now that makes sense. We've got an arthritis sufferer. The swimming gives you a little bit more freedom, which I think is a good thing. All right. Now next up, tutors, as in like tutors, a math tutor or a English tutor.
A teacher, a second teacher.
If your child has a learning disability, such as dyslexia, and you hire a tutor to help, you can claim the cost of that tutor as a medical deduction. It really has to be like a specialized teacher, Lauritsen says. It can't just be a reading teacher like that you find in a regular public school. Because this is a medical deduction, it would be subject to the 7.5% AGI limitation. adjusted gross income.
Okay.
All right. Wedding stuff. What to do with the leftover food from the reception? What about that wedding dress you'll never wear again? Donate them to a charity and take a charitable deduction. To claim the deductions, you'll need to itemize deductions on your tax return using Schedule A. And last but not least, whaling boat repairs.
Whaling boat repairs?
Yeah. If you don't happen to own a whaling boat, you can deduct $10,000 a year for repairs. Don't run out and buy one. The U.S. government bans whaling, but certain Native American tribes are allowed to do so. Remember that it's not worthwhile to itemize your deductions unless you have more itemized deductions than the standard deduction, which is $14,600 for single filers and $29,200 for marrying couples filing jointly for the 2024 tax year. Heads of households get a $21,900 standard deduction. For those 65 and older or blind and who are filing jointly, the standard deduction increases by $1,550 or $1,950 for single filers and head of households. And that's the end. But boy, some of them are weird.
No kidding.
Yeah, what's that last article?
The last one is the ceiling collapsing in the Washington movie theater.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, oops, I got to...
It'll work out perfect. I just took a glance at the time.
Okay.
That last article will work out perfect.
Yep, ceiling collapses at Washington movie theater. So this was back on February 26th. And this took place in Wenatchee, Washington. 2 moviegoers were not hurt when the ceiling collapsed inside Wenatchee's Liberty Cinema on Tuesday, February 25th. As the two people...
That's last week, then.
Yeah.
That's last week.
Mm-hmm. As the 2 people were watching Captain America, Brave New World, debris came crashing down. Battalion Chief Cam Phillips with the Wenatchee Valley Fire Department responded to the scene on Tuesday night. They heard some pops and cracking, and the gentleman stood up and took a peek, Phillips said. He walked up toward the screen, and as he looked up, he said, "Run!" His girlfriend, who was with him, didn't have time to react, Phillips said, and she was found covered in debris in her seat, 1 row behind where the ceiling had collapsed. You want to talk about lucky? She was very lucky.
Somebody had their hand over that lady.
Mm-hmm. Phillips said the Liberty Cinema was built in 1919, and the last remodel was sometime in the 70s. He believes the drop ceiling catastrophically failed all at once, causing everything to fall. In a statement to KING5, the owners of Liberty Cinema said their team is working with local authorities to ensure a thorough investigation into the cause of the collapse. The safety of our patrons and of our employees are of the utmost importance to me and remains my highest priority, the owner's statement continued. The theater will be closed until further notice. Phillips said the 2 people in the theater are lucky not to have been harmed. We are really fortunate that this didn't happen on a Friday night or a Saturday night when the theater was full, Phillips said. This was the best case.
Died then.
Yep, this was the best case scenario on a bad situation.
Yeah. I wonder if the theater gave the people, the theaters, either a voucher for a ticket when it opens again, or their money back.
Well, it's only 2 people. I just don't know. There's no way of knowing, but I think they'll do something. Well, like I said, thank God it was only 2 people in that theater, not a crowd of people in that theater. So.
Amen.
Oh, here's me. Let me drink some agua here.
Somebody had their hand over that girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Think about it.
Oh, yeah. One more thing. There was something on last night. I think it was called the Oscars.
I didn't care.
I really didn't either. Let's see. Oscars
that movie Flow?
Uh-huh.
The one that won the best animated picture?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go on YouTube and find some clips from it.
Yep. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll do what was quick here. Here's the whole thing. Very quickly. Winner of the best picture, Anora. That was a big surprise.
Never heard of the movie.
Yeah. Let's see. Best Director, Sean Baker, also for Anora. Brady Corbet was nominated for The Brutalist, so he gets credit for being a nominee. Let's see. Actor in the leading role, Adrian Brody, The Brutalist. Actress in the leading role, Mikey Madison, Anora. Actor in a supporting role, here's a nice one, Kieran Culkin. Yes, Macaulay's brother.
I wonder if he got selected for the movie on his own, or did he?
He got it on his own. He got it on his own. He won for the movie A Real Pain, so congratulations to him. Actress in the supporting role, Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez, so congratulations to her. Best Writing Adapted Screenplay was Conclave, by screenplay by Peter Strawn. Original screenplay goes to Anora, by Sean Baker. Best animated feature film, the winner was Flow. Let's see. Animated short film, In the Shadow of the Cypress. Cinematography, The Brutalist. Costume design, Paul Tazewell for Wicked. He becomes the first African American man to ever win that title. Let's see. Film editing was Anora. Makeup and hairstyling, The Substance. Live action short film, I'm Not a Robot. Best original score went to The Brutalist. Best original song was El Mal from Emilia Perez. A documentary feature film, No Other Land. Documentary short film, The Only Girl in the Orchestra. International feature, I'm Still Here from Brazil. Let's see. Production design, Wicked did win that one, so good for them. Sound, Dune Part 2. Visual effects, Dune Part 2. And there we go. That's it. Not bad. Got all that done quick. But I've never been interested in the Oscars, with all the talking politics and all in the last few years. But a lot of people said that the start with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande doing Defy Gravity at the beginning was a fantastic start to the show last night. So give them points.
There was I didn't watch the Oscars, but there was a clip going around with Adam Sandler.
Really?
He wasn't dressed proper.
Oh no.
And the host Conan called him out for it.
Oh boy.
But then Adam called Conan out for mocking him. It was a hilarious exchange.
Oh goodness.
It wasn't he wasn't angry. There was no anger there. It was just a humorous moment. Everyone was laughing. And then Adam went to get up and leave. He started walking up. Then he got to Timothy Chalamet and gave him a kiss on the head before he walked out. It was great. I saw the clip. I'm like, that's good. Great.
Yeah.
So they were teasing each other then.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if it was planned too. They could have had it planned out too.
It might have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, it was great.
Hey, planned or unplanned, it still worked out. All right. So anyway,
here's that animation on Flow is great. I'm watching the trailer on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
the animation's great for not being true Japanese anime.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, here's what we're gonna do. Tomorrow night is pending because of my weather situation. If we don't do political catch-up tomorrow, we're gonna do it Wednesday. So that way we'll have that one in there. Thursday, I am making up for not doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links last week because I got sick last Thursday. So I couldn't do it. So this Thursday I will make up for it.
It was just a 24-hour bug.
Yeah. Now here's good news. I have unlocked Maddox Sugetsu. The goal, I have 3 days to do this. I got to get from 5 million to 9 million to officially finish it. And that's not easy. But I'm going to try my best on that one. And then on Friday, we're going to do another round of Rotten Apples because Sajo, Janet, and I, it was a great run. It was perfect last Friday.
No glitches. Nobody got booted or anything.
Nobody got booted. Each one of us won a round, so, which is great. So that's basically our plans. But like I said, tomorrow is gonna be tomorrow will depend on the weather. If I know it's gonna be bad, we're gonna switch political catch up to Wednesday. So, here's me. All right. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to play the ending. So bear with me, Growl.
You gotta get in, you gotta adjust the taxes, you gotta be aggressive.
All right, so with that in mind, I am going to say love, peace, and chicken grease. Everyone have a great night. Sleep well, stay safe. And Frodo and I will see you tomorrow or Wednesday for political catch-up, depending on the weather for me tomorrow night. And then we'll all be back Friday for Rotten Apples. So, peace. See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.